Hi, story lovers! Before we begin today's story, please click the red subscribe button and join our Story and Soul family, where we tell African stories that touch the heart, make you think, and remind you how thin the line between luck and loss can be. Now, sit back, because this one will shake you. They say prison smells like sweat and regret. They're right, but nobody tells you that the worst part is the silence. No phone ringing, no car horn, no music, just your own thoughts mocking you. Every night I lie on this foreign bed, thin like paper, hard like stone, and hear the sound of my chains every time I turn. That's when the truth hits me again. Tobi, you played smart, but you played yourself. Before all this, I was just a broke graduate in Lagos. 4 years studying economics, and all I got was a dusty certificate and a mother who prayed louder than her generator. Every morning, she'd stand at the door with her wrapper tied high and say, "Tobi, today might be your day. Don't give up, my son." And I'd nod, even though deep down, I'd already given up. I had attended more interviews than weddings that year. Most ended the same way, smiles, handshakes, and "we'll get back to you." But they never did. I remember one morning at Ohulegba bus stop. I was sweating under the sun in my only black suit, holding a brown envelope. A man beside me asked, "Guy, where you dey go?" "Interview," I said. He laughed so loud that even the hawker selling gala turned. "My brother, you still dey do interview? You never hear say the country no dey employ again?" I smiled weakly. Inside, I wanted to scream. That night, I sat on the floor of my small room, scrolling through my phone. Everyone I knew seemed to be doing well. My former classmate bought a car. Another one was in the UK. And me? I couldn't even afford to buy data twice a week. Sometimes, I'd open job websites and just stare at the listings like they were fairy tales. Then one day, out of frustration, I slammed my phone down and said out loud, "God, you said you help those who help themselves, right? Then why haven't you helped me?" My mother heard me from the kitchen and came in quietly. "Tobi, don't say that. God's timing." "Mama, a beg. I'm tired of his timing. I've been waiting since NYSC. What if his timing never comes?" She sighed. "Just don't do anything foolish, my son." But foolishness was already knocking. One evening, while charging my dead phone at a kiosk near the junction, I heard a horn. A white Benz parked beside me. When the window rolled down, I almost dropped my charger. It was Lexzy, my old roommate from Unilag, the same guy who used to borrow toothpaste from me. Now he wore designer shades, his wrist glowed with gold, and he smelled like money. "Tobi Baba," he shouted, stepping out of the car. "Long time," I forced a smile. "Guy!" "You don't blow-o," he laughed. "My brother, na grace. Nobi book." That line hit me like a slap. Nobi book, because I had book, plenty of it, but I had nothing to show. He took me to a lounge that night. Drinks, loud music, girls everywhere, the kind of place I'd only seen on TV. While we drank, he leaned close and said, "You still dey find job?" I nodded. He smirked. "Omo, forget job, na old school level. This country no reward good boys again. You go die poor if you wait for government." "What do you mean?" I asked. He looked around, then whispered, "I dey do runs. Yahoo." I froze. "Guy abago, I no fit go jail." He laughed so hard, spilling his drink. "You think say all the boys we dey drive Benz go jail?" "Guy, the system don't fail us. We just dey use brain." I didn't reply, but his words didn't leave me. That night, I went home and lay awake staring at my ceiling. We just dey use brain. 2 weeks later, when my rent expired and my landlord knocked with his stick, I called Lexzy. "Guy, I'm ready," I said quietly. He laughed into the phone. "I talk am. My boy Don wise up. Welcome to the real world, Tobi. Welcome to smart life." That was the night I crossed the line, from broke dreamer to a man chasing quick riches. And I didn't know it yet. But I had just opened the door that would one day lock behind me forever. Story lovers, what do you think about Tobi's decision? Would you have done the same if you were in his shoes? Jobless, hungry, and desperate? Tell me in the comments. And don't forget, click subscribe. When people say, evil doesn't wear horns, they're right. Sometimes it wears designer shades and drives a white Benz. That's what Lexzy looked like when he pulled up outside my compound the next morning. "Guy, you ready?" he asked through the window. I nodded. My heart was beating fast, excitement mixed with fear. He laughed. "Relax, Tobi. You know they go rob bank. You they go make money." He handed me a black hoodie. "Wear this. You go blend." "Blend where?" I asked. He grinned. "Inside hustle world." We drove to a duplex in Acacia that looked ordinary from the outside, but inside, it was something else. 10 boys sat in front of laptops, eyes glued to screens, typing fast, whispering in fake accents. The room smelled like sweat, coffee, and greed. One of them looked up and said, "New recruit?" Lexzy nodded. "My guy. Graduate. Sharp brain. Good," the boy said. "We need more brains than brawn." That was how my training began. The first week, they didn't even let me touch a laptop. I was told to observe. I watched as boys pretended to be white women, American soldiers, oil engineers, widows, even pastors. They used fake pictures, fake emotions, fake lives, all to make strangers fall in love or trust them. I remember asking one of them, "But how do you sleep at night?" He laughed without looking up. "On a soft bed, bro." On a very soft bed. Everyone in the room laughed. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking of my mother's words, "Don't do anything foolish." But foolishness already had my name on its list. By the second week, I got my first laptop, a used HP that had seen better days. Lexzy assigned me a mentor called DJ, a chubby guy with tribal marks and a permanent grin. "Rule number 1, DJ said, spinning his chair toward me, never pity your client. Pity is poverty." I nodded, pretending to understand. "Rule number 2, he continued, speak like them. You're not Tobi now. You're Melissa Brown, widow, 32, lives in Texas." He handed me a fake Facebook account with photos of a beautiful woman and a profile that read "Widowed and Healing." I frowned. "So I'm pretending to be a woman?" He grinned. "Yes, baby girl." The whole room burst into laughter. Days turned into weeks. I learned slang I'd never use in real life. Sweetheart, darling, honey bunch. DJ taught me how to mirror time zones, how to fake empathy, how to send good morning messages that sounded real. "You must make them feel seen," he said. "People in rich countries get everything except attention. That's where you enter." It worked. Within 2 months, I had 10 clients. Most were older white men or lonely women. Still, no money, just endless chatting, fake love, fake promises. I almost quit. One night, I slammed my laptop shut and said, "This thing no day work, Jare. I've been forming Melissa for months. Nobody don send 1 kobo." DJ chuckled. "Na patience, baby girl. The spirit of Yahoo tests you before it blesses you." I rolled my eyes. I don't believe in that spirit talk. He leaned close and whispered, "Then maybe you're not ready for the kind of life you say you want." That line stayed with me. The kind of life I say I want. I wanted to prove him wrong. So I went back online and started chatting with more energy. I watched videos about emotional manipulation. I studied how widows talk, how they grieve, how they love again. I became Melissa. Soft, broken, believable. One night, while scrolling through Facebook, a message popped up from a user named Raymond H. His profile said, "Texas, 54, widower, retired oil engineer." I smiled. My next victim. "Hi, Melissa," his first message read. "You commented on my post about loneliness. Thank you." I stared at the screen, thinking of what to reply. Then I typed, "Hi, Raymond. I understand loneliness too. It's been 5 years since my husband passed." The typing bubble appeared immediately. "I'm sorry for your loss," he wrote. "I lost my wife 2 years ago. Some nights the silence is unbearable." I leaned back and smiled. Hooked. That was the beginning. Weeks passed. We spoke every day, morning, night, sometimes even during his lunch breaks. I studied his language patterns until I could almost predict his next sentence. He sent pictures of his dog, his garden, his breakfast. He called me his angel. One night he said, "Melissa, you make me feel alive again." I almost laughed out loud. Instead, I typed softly, "You deserve happiness, Raymond." DJ read over my shoulder and whistled. "This one go pay, I swear. He's too soft." I frowned. "How do we move from talking to paying?" He grinned. "You need tragedy, something that will make him open wallet." That night, we created a story. Melissa had stage 2 cancer. DJ even photoshopped fake hospital receipts and a picture of Melissa lying in a hospital bed. I felt uneasy. "Isn't this too much?" He waved me off. "This is business. No emotion." So I sent the message. "Raymond, I didn't want to tell you this, but I've been diagnosed with cancer. I'm scared. Treatment costs $20,000. I'll understand if you can't help." I clicked send, heart pounding. For 3 days, no reply. I started panicking. Maybe he saw through me. Maybe he was gone. Then on the 4th night, a message came. "Melissa, I cried when I read your message. Please send the hospital details. I'll send what I can." DJ jumped from his chair. "Jackpot!" We created a fake hospital account. The next morning, $20,000 landed in it. I stared at the screen. My hands shook. DJ shouted, "Welcome to the club, baby girl." Lexzy came in, clapping. "My boy, I told you. I told you the system no-day reward the patient ones." That night, we popped champagne. The boys poured drinks on the floor shouting, "For the gods of Yahoo." But while everyone was laughing, something strange happened inside me. I couldn't stop thinking about Raymond, a real man somewhere, crying over a fake woman. I whispered to DJ, "Guy, I feel bad." He looked at me like I'd spoken Chinese. "Feel bad? My guy, na $20,000. You should be feeling rich." Everyone laughed. I forced a smile. But that night, alone in my room, I couldn't sleep. The next day, I transferred $2,000 to my mother's account without telling her where it came from. She called, crying, "Tobi, Jesus, who sent you this? Are you okay?" I smiled. "I just got a small job, Mama." She prayed over the phone for almost 10 minutes, thanking God for my breakthrough. Her voice made my chest tight. "Don't forget to pay your tithe, my son," she said. I almost laughed. Tithe on stolen tears. Within weeks, I moved out of my face me, I face you apartment to a mini flat. New phone, new clothes, new perfume. Neighbors started greeting me with respect. "Good morning, Oga Tobi." I'd nod, pretending to be humble. Lexzy noticed. "You see? Now dem dey respect you. Na money be language for this country." I grinned. You no lie. But I didn't stop. I went back online, searching for more Raymonds. Months passed. I got better, smoother lies, deeper emotions. Every chat was a performance. Every "I miss you" was a trap. I bought a car. I started taking my mother to church in it, pretending it was a blessing. People in the compound began saying, "That Tobi boy must be destined for greatness." I wanted to laugh. Greatness built on greed. One evening, while driving through Lekki with Lexzy, I asked, "Do you ever think about what happens if they catch us?" He burst into laughter. "Catch who? Not only foolish boys get caught. The smart ones live long." I forced a smile, but something in my gut twisted. Days later, I received a message from Raymond again, the same man I'd scammed. He wrote, "Melissa, I'm flying to Houston next week for my church's cancer awareness program. I'd love to visit you in the hospital. Can you send me the address?" My blood ran cold. I called DJ immediately. "Bro, he wants to visit the hospital." DJ frowned. "Block him." I hesitated. "But what if he finds out?" He shrugged. "Then he'll learn the lesson of love online." So I blocked Raymond. But that night, I saw his last message. "I just wanted to see your face before I go. Even if you don't love me, I just wanted to help." For the first time, I felt small. Smaller than the lies I'd told. 2 days later, I used the money to buy a Toyota Camry. When I drove it into the street, people gathered. My landlord clapped and said, "Ah, my boy, you made it! Congratulations!" I smiled, shaking hands, pretending. But deep inside, something hollow grew. Something that no amount of cash could fill. At night, I stared at my reflection and whispered, "Tobi, are you still human?" I didn't have an answer. Story lovers, what do you think about Tobi's first scam? Did you pity him? Or? Drop your thoughts in the comments and subscribe so you don't miss one up. When you've been broke for too long, the first time money enters your account, you don't sleep. You refresh the balance every 10 minutes just to make sure it's real. That was me, Tobi, the new big boy of Lagos. The first $20,000 changed my life. The second one changed my soul. I started walking differently. Chest out, chin up. People noticed. Even my landlord, who once banged on my door shouting for rent, now greeted me with a smile and called me Oga Tobi. Within 6 months, I bought my first car, a Toyota Camry, silver like morning dew. I drove it around my street with the windows down and music loud enough for my enemies to choke on the bass. The same people who laughed at me when I was jobless now waved and said, "Now your time be this, Oga!" I'd laugh and throw small cash into the air. Nothing feels better than feeding people who once fed your humiliation. Lexzy was proud of me. "Guy, I no go lie. You've become a beast. You dey run things sharp," he said one night at the club. The club that night looked like sin wrapped in colored lights. Bodies moved like smoke. Champagne flowed like water. And I sat there watching my reflection in the golden bottle thinking, so this is what success feels like. "Bro, you no go calm down?" I asked as Lexzy poured more drinks. He laughed. "Calm down for who? For poor people? No be we dem call lazy youths? Now dem dey beg lazy youths for handout." We burst into laughter so loud that people turned. That was the night I tasted pride for the first time. Sweet and deadly. Soon I became the new face of easy success. Instagram followed me before my conscience unfollowed me. I started posting pictures. Me beside my car, me in hotel robes, me spraying cash at weddings. The comments rolled in, "God when? Teach us the way, Tobi." I'd reply with my favorite line. Hard work doesn't pay. Smart work does. But deep down, I knew the truth. It wasn't smart work. It was dark work. My mother thought I'd finally broken the curse. She danced at church every Sunday, shouting, "My son is a blessing." Sometimes I wanted to tell her the truth, that her son was funding blessings with stolen tears, but I couldn't. Instead, I'd smile and press an envelope into her hand. "Buy something for yourself, Mama." She'd bless me, and each blessing felt like another lie stitched to my name. Soon, small money wasn't sweet anymore. The taste faded. I wanted more. So, I upgraded my team. Lexzy introduced me to Marlon, a tech genius who could hack anything, from emails to entire company databases. He was quiet, sharp-eyed, and dangerous. He told me, "With the right code, Tobi, you don't chase money. Money chases you." That line entered my chest like gospel. We built a team of 5 boys, all hungry, all greedy, all lost. We didn't just scam people now, we engineered emotions. We created fake charity foundations, hacked foreign accounts, and even sent ourselves fake awards to make it look legit. We called ourselves the Network. And money? It started to rain, heavily. In 1 month, we made more than some companies earned in a year. We rented an apartment in Lekki. We filled it with MacBooks, fast Wi-Fi, and faster lies. Every morning, I'd wake up to the smell of perfume and power. People started calling me chairman. My boys greeted me with respect. Even my voice changed. When I spoke, people listened. When I entered a place, silence followed like a loyal dog. But pride was already building its house in me. I began to hate poor people. Not openly, but deep inside. Whenever someone complained about the economy, I'd say, "Abeg, hustle smarter." I forgot that I once begged for transport money. Lexzy noticed the change. One evening, he said, "Tobi, slow down small. You dey act like you no dey fear anything again." I smirked. "Fear? My name day in heaven's register of untouchables." He laughed uneasily. "No man is untouchable, my guy. Just remember that." But I didn't hear him. Money had become my new religion, and I was both preacher and God. Soon I started competing with Lagos rich men. I bought a Mercedes, then a Rolex, then land in Aja. I threw parties every weekend, inviting Instagram influencers, DJs, even pastors. They came, they smiled, they praised. I became the guy, the one mothers wanted their daughters to marry, the one fathers pretended to respect but secretly envied. One Sunday, I walked into church wearing all white, designer head to toe. The ushers rushed to give me front row seat. Pastor even paused mid-sermon and said, "Brother Tobi, we thank God for your success. Please come forward and bless the Lord with your testimony." Everyone clapped. I walked to the altar, chest out, face glowing under the lights. "Praise the Lord," I shouted. "Hallelujah," the crowd responded. "I just want to thank God for turning my life around," I said, smiling. I was once broke, but now I'm blessed beyond measure. They cheered. But somewhere in the back row, an old woman selling sachet water looked at me differently. Her eyes said, "Not all blessings come from God." I couldn't meet her gaze. At night, I'd sometimes wake up sweating, not from heat, but guilt. Faces of the people I'd scammed would flash in my dreams. Men crying, women praying, children waiting for money that would never come. But by morning, the guilt would fade like smoke. Money has a way of cleaning the mind, temporarily. I became addicted to the thrill. The beeping sound of a credit alert was my drug. The feeling of fresh notes in my hand, my high. I wanted more, always more. So when Marlon suggested we move into crypto fraud, I didn't even blink. He said, "We can hit billions this time, boss. One big operation. After that, we disappear." I smiled. "Let's do it." Lexzy shook his head. "Tobi, you dey push luck too far." I snapped at him. "Luck? Who needs luck when you have skill?" He sighed. "Remember, pride goeth before fall." I laughed. Bible quotes can't scare me anymore. That night, I opened a bottle of wine worth more than my first rent and toasted to my empire. But even empires fall. Mine just hadn't gotten the memo yet. A month later, I bought a mansion in Lekki Phase 1. Swimming pool, marble floor, chandelier bright enough to blind angels. People whispered my name everywhere. One blogger wrote, "Meet Tobi, the young millionaire who redefined hustle." My followers doubled overnight. Girls filled my DMs with love confessions. Politicians invited me to charity events. I felt unstoppable. DJ, my old mentor, came to visit one night. He looked at the house, the cars, the art on the wall, and said, "Omo, you don't make am." I laughed. "You too can. Just follow my steps." He shook his head. "I no envy you, Tobi. This kind money gets spirit. It no day sleep." I frowned. "You too day talk like prophet. I beg enjoy your drink." He sighed. "Enjoyment get expiry date." But I didn't listen. That same week, we pulled off a huge crypto hack, our biggest job yet. When the money dropped, my hands trembled. Billions. Literal billions. Marlon screamed, "We did it! We did it!" The boys jumped and hugged. Even Lexzy smiled, though his eyes looked worried. "Guy, we must lay low now," he said. "Lay low?" I scoffed. "For what? I'm a legend, not a rat." That night, I hosted a private party. Champagne, dancers, fireworks, the whole show. People posted videos online, tagging me with Big Boy Tobi, God did it, Soft Life King. I sat by the pool, watching the fireworks reflect in the water. A girl beside me whispered, "You're living the dream." I smiled. "No, baby, I'm living the proof that dreams are for lazy people." We both laughed, but somewhere deep inside, something whispered, "Dreams end. Nightmares don't." Hi, story lovers. If you're new here, please click the red subscribe button. It started like every other big job, just louder, riskier, and 10 times sweeter. Marlon came into my office one evening, laptop under his arm and excitement on his face. "Boss, I've found something," he said. He plugged in his system and pulled up the logo of a foreign oil company, Grayline Energy, Texas. "They handle offshore crypto transfers for oil payments," he said, scrolling fast. "If we can mirror their gateway, we can redirect a few transactions into our coded wallets." I frowned. "A few transactions? How much we talking about?" He smiled. "In dollars, about 2.6 billion. Silence. Even the air in the room stopped breathing. Lexzy, who'd been half asleep on the couch, sat up. "You want hack who? Oil company? Oh boy, no be too big?" Marlon adjusted his glasses. "Big job, big reward. They'll never trace it to Nigeria. I'll mask the IP." I looked at them both, one scared, one confident, and I felt that familiar rush again. The one that makes fear taste like sugar. "Let's do it," I said. For weeks, we worked like possessed men. No clubs, no girls, no sleep, just codes, screens, and energy drinks. Marlon's fingers danced on the keyboard like a pianist at war. DJ handled crypto wallets. Lexzy managed communications. And me? I was the captain steering the ship straight into a storm I couldn't see. We called the operation Project Eclipse because, as Marlon said, we're about to block their sun. The night of the job felt unreal. Rain poured hard outside, thunder like a warning from heaven. "Are we ready?" I asked. "Firewall breached," Marlon said. "One more step?" I nodded. "Do it." He hit enter. The room went quiet. Then lines of code flashed across his screen. Green, green, green. Marlon grinned. Transfer path opened. Money rerouting. I leaned forward. "How long?" 15 minutes max. 15 minutes that felt like 15 years. We watched the progress bar crawl across the screen. 10%, 40%, 70%. When it hit 100%, the sound of a notification filled the room. Marlon spun his chair toward me. "It's done," he said. "We did it." I didn't move at first. Then I stood up slowly, walked to the mirror, and whispered, "We're gods." The boys erupted in cheers. Lexzy poured champagne over the keyboards. DJ screamed, "We don't blow." That night, we didn't just celebrate, we exploded. Music blasted till dawn. Neighbors complained. I didn't care. I was rich beyond measure. But I should have remembered one thing my mother used to say. The higher a kite flies, the thinner its string. Because barely 3 days later, everything began to unravel. It started with a strange email. The subject line read, "Security breach, urgent." Marlon opened it, his face drained of color. "What's wrong?" I asked. "They found out," he whispered. I froze. Who? The company. Grayline. They've traced the anomaly. They're involving Interpol. For the first time in years, my heart skipped not from excitement, but fear. I snatched the laptop and read it myself. The message contained our fake wallet address and IP pings from Lagos and Abuja. Marlon's perfect mask had leaked for 2 minutes during the transfer. 2 minutes. That's all it took to open the gate of hell. We started panicking. Lexzy suggested we split and lay low. Marlon said he could still erase the digital footprint. DJ was shaking so bad his glass fell from his hand. I yelled, "Everybody calm down! Nobody will catch us! They can't touch us here! But deep inside, I wasn't sure anymore. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every car horn outside sounded like police sirens. Every vibration from my phone made my skin crawl. By morning, news stations were already reporting the hack. Headlines everywhere screamed, $2.6 billion crypto fraud linked to African syndicate. Lexzy barged into my room, waving his phone. Bro, your face! Look! My heart sank. On the screen was a blurred CCTV still. But the posture, the shirt, even the wristwatch. It was me. I stared at it, frozen. They can't be sure it's me. But even as I said it, I knew I was lying. 2 days later, I booked a private flight to Dubai. I told everyone to keep quiet and stay hidden. Lexzy refused. Bro, running will make it worse. Let's find a lawyer. I shook my head. I can't go to jail, Lexzy. Not me. He sighed deeply. Then may God help you. Those were the last words he said to me before I left. At the airport, everything looked normal. I wore a face cap, dark shades, designer tracksuit, trying to blend in. When the immigration officer scanned my passport, he smiled politely. Mr. Tobi Olamide? Yes? He nodded. Please come with me. At first, I thought it was a routine check. Then I saw the men in suits waiting ahead. Calm, tall, serious. Their badges said Interpol. Mr. Olamide, one of them said. You're under arrest for international cyber fraud. Everything slowed down. Voices blurred. People stared. I wanted to run, but my legs forgot how. They handcuffed me right there in front of everyone. A few Nigerians waiting in line started whispering. One even took a photo. In seconds, my downfall became content. The interrogation started before we even landed in the foreign country. No shouting, no beating, just calm questions that cut deep. Where is the money, Mr. Olamide? I don't know what you're talking about. I lied. They slid a file toward me. Inside were screenshots, transactions, timestamps, IP trails, even my voice recording from a call I thought was private. Still don't know, the officer asked, raising an eyebrow. I said nothing. He leaned closer. You were smart, but you left fingerprints, not on glass, but in code. The court process was fast. Too fast. Within months, the verdict came. Guilty. Sentenced 12 years imprisonment in a foreign country. I remember standing in the courtroom wearing a prison jumpsuit for the first time. The air felt heavy, like the room itself was disappointed in me. When the judge asked if I had anything to say, I looked around. No family, no friends, no Lexzy. Just cameras. I swallowed hard. I'm sorry, I said quietly. I just wanted to be seen. The judge nodded slowly. Now you will be, but for the wrong reasons. The gavel came down. Bang. My empire ended. Prison life was a movie nobody should watch twice. Cold floors, hard bread, faces filled with stories worse than mine. My first cellmate was a tall guy named Oscar, a Nigerian too. He looked at me one morning and said, "You're the Yahoo boy, right?" I didn't reply. He chuckled. "I read about you had cars, girls, money. What are you doing here?" I smiled bitterly. "Same thing you're doing here, paying." He nodded. "You fit teach class on greed." That one stung. Every night I replayed everything, the fake smiles, the champagne, the women calling me king. Now I was just another man in a gray cell. No followers, no friends, no Wi-Fi, just silence. Sometimes I'd hear footsteps echo down the corridor and pray it was my release date, but it never was. The worst part? Letters started coming. One from my mother. Her handwriting shook across the page. "My son, I'm still praying for you. I don't understand how it happened, but I still believe God will forgive you. Please, don't give up on yourself. I still love you." I cried till my chest hurt. For the first time, the word love didn't sound like something to exploit. Months turned into years. My body changed. My mind did too. I stopped thinking about money and started thinking about peace, something I never bought when I could afford everything. Some nights I'd whisper to myself, "Was it worth it, Tobi?" The silence always answered, "No." But I wasn't done learning. Life still had one more lesson to teach me, the kind that burns pride completely. Hi, story lovers. Welcome back to Story and Soul. If you followed Tobi's journey from jobless graduate to fallen millionaire, you already know. This story isn't just about crime. It's about choices. Before we finish, please click the subscribe button. Let's end this together. Prison changes you. Not immediately. It happens slowly, like rain wearing down a stone. The first few weeks, I still woke up expecting to hear phone notifications. I'd reach under my pillow for a phone that wasn't there. Then reality would hit again. Concrete walls, metal door, no freedom. At night, I could hear the sounds, crying, shouting, sometimes laughter that didn't sound human. That's when I understood something. Money may buy everything, but it can't buy silence. I started reading in prison, something I never had patience for before. Books about humility, repentance, even self-control. Sometimes I just stare at the pages and think about my mother's voice. She wrote often. Every letter started the same way. "My son, I hope you're eating. I'm still praying for you." And she always ended with, "God gives second chances to those who truly change." I used to laugh at that. But one night, after another inmate was taken away in chains for fighting, I sat on my bed and whispered, "God, if you can hear me, I'm tired." For the first time in years, I wasn't asking for money. I was asking for peace. Months passed. I joined the prison cleaning team, mopping floors, scrubbing toilets. Some days I'd hear guards whisper, "That's the Nigerian hacker billionaire." I'd keep my head down. I wasn't a billionaire anymore. I was a cleaner with a past too heavy for one body. But strangely, I found peace in those simple routines. There was no pretense, no fake accent, no schemes. Just water, soap, and honesty. One morning, the warden called me into his office. A journalist wanted to interview me for a documentary on cybercrime. I hesitated. "Why me?" He smiled. "Because your story is the most honest." At first, I didn't want to. But then I remembered all the young boys I once bragged to online, the ones chasing quick money. So I agreed. The day of the interview, I sat in front of the camera wearing my orange jumpsuit. The journalist asked, "Tobi, what do you regret most?" I sighed. "Not the money I lost. The people I hurt. The man who cried for Melissa. My mother who believed my lies. Myself for thinking greed was success." He nodded. "If you could speak to young men watching this, what would you say?" I looked straight into the lens. Don't let frustration make you a fraud. Patience may be slow, but prison is slower. Silence filled the room. Even the guards stopped moving. When the interview aired months later, letters started flooding in. Not from scammers, but from students. Some said, "My story stopped them from joining the wrong crowd." One even wrote, "Because of you, I decided to start a real business." That day, for the first time in years, I felt like I'd earned something real. Purpose. Years rolled by. The walls of the prison became less of a punishment and more of a mirror. Every reflection showed me a man who once chased power and found emptiness. Then one morning, a guard came to my cell with a letter. It was from Nigeria. "My son, your appeal has been granted. You'll be released soon. I've kept your room." I never stopped waiting. I sat on my bed, shaking. After all the years, after all the disgrace, my mother still waited. I fell to my knees. She opened her arms. "My son," she whispered, "you're home." I broke down. Years of shame poured out like rain. She held my face and said softly, "The world saw a thief, but I see my son who learned his lesson." Sometimes when I sit by the window, I hear kids outside shouting, "Oga Tobi, tell a story." I smile and say, "Don't worry. One day I'll tell you how greed almost buried me alive." And every night, before I sleep, I whisper one prayer. Lord, let my past be someone else's warning. Story lovers, what do you think of Tobi's journey? Was he a victim of society's pressure or his own pride? Would you have forgiven him? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if this story touched you even for a second, please click subscribe and check the right corner of your screen for more powerful African stories from Story and Soul. Because sometimes the richest people are the ones who lost everything and found themselves